Good morning, happy Monday. So something really special happened this weekend at my side hustle job, and I thought that was so special that I wanted to share with you today because truly it tells me we do not know who we're speaking to and how our words are going to impact the life of others. And if you know me a little bit, you know that I might talk to God knows who, including creatures. So when I have an opportunity to talk to humans, especially in a casual way, I often do as long as I feel that there is the opening for that. And that happened this weekend as well. So I was, talking to this couple, and the gentleman asked me where I was from, and we go into this conversation about Brazil and eventually retiring potentially in Brazil, and I mentioned about the corruption in Brazil, but I said it's an amazing place. I might go back one day. I don't know. And so he started asking me further questions, and I said, you know what, you should definitely visit. And I said, look, I went back in November, and it really reminded me how rich and how special my country is. And I touched briefly that, my mom had passed, and I was there to kind of help spread her ashes. And his wife quickly looked at me and says, what'd you do with your mom's ashes? And I says, well, let me tell you. So I told her that I drove to my mom's home state. It's very beautiful, it's rich in nature, and we're hiking and we found this place and we said that's going to be it. And so I told her a little story, and if you follow, last year when I went home, I created some videos and pictures, and I told a lot of details. I mentioned about, the place, and I mentioned that all of a sudden there was 3 big birds because my mom wanted to be, around birds and thick nature. So I said it was very quiet, it was raining, and all of a sudden these 3 big azure birds came up and started staring at us. And suddenly other birds start chirping away out of nowhere. Anyway, so this woman I was telling this story is like this, look at me, look at her husband. And I really couldn't tell, but by the way, what I didn't say is by this time I was kind of crying because I could vividly remind the moment. It was such a special moment for me. So, and I kind of finishing up the story, and I tell we go back to the trail and we see this sign said X, W, and Z, and I kind of start walking, and I look back and I look at the sign, and just on top there is that one bird and it's looking at me. And I said, I'm gonna try not to cry here. Well, that didn't happen. I miss my mom, and I said, you know what, I truly believe that it was an angel. That was Mom saying, okay, I'm good, you can go. So anyway, I tell this story, and this woman, I finish, and this woman looks at me, and she says, oh my God. And there is so much in this story that resonates with me. And she starts crying, literally crying hard. And she started saying that she lost, this was Friday night, which was July 14th. And she says, tomorrow, July 15th, is going to be a year that I lost my grandmother. My grandmother was my mom, basically. And so many things that you told in your story that resonated with me and my story with my grandmother. And she says, but you know what, as you start telling your story, I felt something is strong, and I've been looking in my heart, and I've been looking for something that my grandmother is out there, she says. And I literally believe that that was it. And she tells that how powerful this was. And we start comparing notes, and she said that there is, birds on her stories as well, and yada, yada. Kind of a beautiful kind of thing that happened. So, the next day, Saturday, she came back and she gives me this book right here. It's called Entertaining Angels, Annie Nielsen, true stories and art inspired by divine encounters. And she also wrote, printed a copy of this owl, because she says that soon after her grandmother passed away, this owl starts coming to her windows and starts staring at her, and so on, so on. So it's a beautiful, look at that. It's a beautiful owl looking at this woman. She says that they stay for days coming back and forth. And she wrote, this woman wrote this whole thing in this first page of this book, which I'm going to read it to you because it really touched me. So this was then Saturday, July 15th, on the day that was her mom's, or her grandmother's passing of 1 year. So she says, I received this book as a gift from my aunt. She knew the connection that my grandmother and I shared. She knew that I lost my person on this planet with my grandmother's passing. She sent me this book to aid in my grief and healing and journey. This book is a collection of ringlets about encounters that people had with angels, spiritual messengers, conduits for healing, revelations, or push to purpose. My grandmother passed 1 year ago today, and I know that you were an angel sent to give me messages from her through your story. I know it was not a coincidence. Thank you for being so vulnerable and willing to share the spiritual experience you had honoring your mom. My grandmother knew that I would get what she was trying to tell me through your story. The three birds, the announcement, sound from nature, and the quote will remain with me forever. The quote from a sign that I told the woman that was right there when I turned. A way of earning that she was letting you, I'm sorry, let me restart this sentence, I can barely read. I also believe this was your mom's way of sharing, that she was letting you and your family know the place she was spreading her ashes were divine. Two strangers with a common thread that meant more than I have words to express. A quote from the book cites Hebrews 13:2. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels. Sorry. Let me start that. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. Thank you doesn't satisfy, it doesn't seem sufficient for what our encounter meant to me. I will carry it with me for many days. Respectfully and eternally grateful, Ciara. I hope you enjoy the book. I printed a picture of the hawks. It's not an owl, it's a hawks. sighting I told you about also. So God bless you. I mean, it's a beautiful book, full of stories. I haven't touched all the stories yet or read it all, but surely was not meaning to cry here, but it just brings a lot of good memories. My mom, and also this special moment. And you know, we never know, we truly never know who we're gonna meet, how our words are speaking to somebody. You know, this couple told me that, so Maria, we're not going to leave the house tonight, and now we know why we left the house. But you know, the husband said, you know, it's so emotional for my wife that I thought that you know, let's go out and let's get a bite somewhere and go from there, so she's not upset in the house. And there we go. You know, this was late at night, and I had absolutely no business of I guess sharing this special moment with them, but it just came out. You know, I was just in the moment, and I felt like it was something that I needed to share, I guess, for whatever reason. So, you know, I guess it's okay for us to be unconditionally ourselves and not be preoccupied with the judgment that others will put upon us, what society will put upon us. Because most people, I don't know, they're just too concerned what others will say. And you know what? If we're following our heart, if we're following our intuition, and when we are kind and respectful, why not share? Because like for this woman, this was something that she needed, and I guess she needed to hear. She needed this message. She believes that was the message. And you know what? I told her, you know, maybe our moms, you know, are upstairs right now looking down and having a cup of tea or a coffee or something together. You know, we're celebrating. So, you know, when she came back on Saturday, gave me this book, I kind of ran through my phone and showed her pictures, and took a little bit more time that I hadn't the night before, and we hugged a few times, and this was really special moment. So, you know, folks, let's be ourselves, and let's not put ourselves in jail of who we are. And again, we never know who we're impacting somebody's life. So that's all I wanted to share with you, and have a wonderful day, and take care. Bye.